Hey, folks, welcome to the show. It's the end of April, another show. This year is going by so fast. I guess getting older, I guess everything starts to go faster, go faster downhill. But anyway, I wanted to welcome everyone to the show today. I have a great guest. I love him, and I think you're going to love him too. I have to be honest. This isn't some guest. This is actually a family member. This is my cousin from Phoenix, Arizona, and he was kind enough to be on the show today. But I think you're going to really enjoy him. In fact, without further ado, let's get him in the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Welcome, Todd.
Hello.
How are you
doing?
Fine.
I'm fine, but I'm sleepy, but I'm fine.
So, as I mentioned, folks, Todd lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and right now in Phoenix, it is. What time is it?
Oh my, late? No, it's 10:30 p.m.
10:30
Friday evening.
10:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Friday evening, and it
Friday
is,
evening.
I think they get it, and it's 7:30 a.m. here in Italy. But thank you so much for staying up late. I know it's the old man. It's probably past your bedtime. It's past your bedtime, old guy. I know how that.
Well,
is.
Yeah, and it's strange to be so sleepy, and I haven't had any cocktails yet. Yeah, I let the cocktails go because I wanted to be coherent for this.
All you had to do is just let me
this,
know. We could have both had a cocktail. We could have been incoherent together. That would have given the audience something to laugh about, huh?
Oh yeah. So. I don't need that international notoriety.
Well,
no, thank you.
Thank you so much for being coherent, and thank you for being on this show. So,
how are
as
things
I
in
mentioned,
Italy?
Not bad.
How are things in Italy?
Not
bad.
bad.
You guys are
Yeah,
locked down
we
again?
actually are coming off lockdown. I don't know why my glasses are fogging up. We are actually coming off lockdown Monday. It's not a total off lockdown. It's a lightening of the lockdown. So
The lightning of the lockdown.
a lightning of the lockdown. We actually get to travel outside of I can travel outside of my town now legally. I've been doing it illegally. I've been going because I have to go to the grocery store, and the grocery store and things that I go to is in the next town. But the cops, I actually got stopped. I actually got stopped by the cops walking from one place to another. I was walking in the next town, and the cops came up behind me, and they actually stopped me when I was with another friend of mine. And they came up behind us. They stopped us, asked for identification. He said, "Well, asked me where do I live," and I pointed over. I said, "I live right over there, right by the hill." And because I actually live at the edge of my town, so I can actually be in certain places in the next town, which are closer to me than certain places in my own town, because I live right on the border. And so he stopped me and asked me for my ID, my friend's ID, and we gave them ID, and he looked at it, got in the car, and then he just rolled down his window, gave us our ID back, said, "Hey, you guys have a nice day." My friend turned around and looked at me. He said, "Oh, yeah, he let you go because you were an American." I'm actually going to talk about that a little later in the next segment, that being an American part. But, yeah. And so even though I was in the next town, they understand that you got to, if you're in one small town and you don't have stores in your town, you got to go to the next town.
Gotcha. But, something that's just funny, I'm sure that there has been some type of information that you and I both have gotten about staying put and following the direct anyhow. So it's so nice.
God, I told you I was going to. You see, folks, this is our relationship since we were little kids. Him bossing me around. And would you believe I'm the older one? But he's the bossier one.
No.
Look, he's not going to deny it either.
Well, no, I'm not bossing you, but you know what, man? I've always been honest with you.
I know. I'm just telling him.
And you just told the world. Right, but you've just told the world that, yeah, I've been actually illegally been going over here, traveling with my friend in the middle of a pandemic.
No,
That is not me. I do not roll like that.
no, Todd.
You
I was
probably weren't
telling you,
wearing a
I was
mask
going.
either, were you?
Yeah, we were wearing masks. I told you I was going to the store.
Whew! They
I
were
was
wearing a
going to the
mask.
store. We're allowed to
Italy.
go to the store. That's why the police let me go, because he could see. They know that if you and they even have a special provision that if your town is of a certain
What's the
size,
provision called?
you're allowed. It's called a 30-kilometer thing where if you live in a small town of 5,000 or less, you can actually go 30 kilometers from your house because they know not all small towns have the stores. So the stores that I need to go to are not in my town. They're actually in
I
the
got
next
you.
in the next town. So that's why he let me
Who
go.
are you trying to convince? Who are you trying to convince?
Okay, folks, let's
It's
get
it's your folks over there in Italy that's going to be looking at you sideways.
Ah, let's get to
I'm
the
doing
show,
like
Todd.
this. Wow, wow! You just throw this all to the.
I just threw myself.
I
under the
don't
bus.
care what the I don't care what they say. I'm going over here illegally. You said that yourself. Anyhow,
I did say
let's
that.
get
I
to
did
the
say
show.
that. But technically, I'm not illegal because it's within 30 kilometers.
You can't.
It just
You
sounds more
can't
dramatic
clean
if
it
you
up
say
now,
illegal.
cousin. You can't clean it up now.
Ah.
It's out
Anyway,
there.
Todd,
It's in the
we're here to
universe.
talk about you. We're not here to
Yes.
talk about me. So, so
I do not break the law,
as
everyone.
folks, as you can imagine, I know this guy,
Ooh.
but you guys have to get to know him. So let's find out a little bit about his good side, his great qualities. Todd, so Todd, you're a DJ. Let us know a little more about yourself and how you got into music.
How did I get into music? Well,
I don't know. My glasses.
I
keep
got
falling
into
out.
music. I've always liked music. Ever since I was a little dude, and all types of music, but especially, and I'm dating myself, when I would see the Jackson 5 or any kid act. I'll say that any kid act on television, Ed Sullivan, Sonny and Cher, whatever, and it would. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. And I would get my mom's hairbrush or a flashlight because it kind of looked like a microphone,
Yeah.
and I would get my silhouette on the wall, and I would just go crazy. And I've always just loved music, dancing, and all of that. That's
That is
all.
so
That's how I got into it.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. To be a good DJ, do you have to be a musician as well, or can you be a good DJ and not play instruments?
Yes, you can be a great DJ and not play any. I don't play any instruments.
Okay.
However, my I can mess around with a little bit of drums, tickle the keys very very little. I can't play any guitars or anything. But no, you don't have to be a musician
Okay.
to be a DJ. You just have to know music, know timing, and know what's gonna get your crowd going.
Very cool.
That's it.
So speaking of
and you have to be somewhat of a show off. You gotta love to be in front of people, or not be afraid to be in front of people.
right, you can't be shy.
I mean, you can be shy, but
Yeah,
but you
I
got to
get
be
it.
able to be in front of people too. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. So
Because
you
I have shy moments.
really?
Don't I do?
Okay,
There's
I'm
sometimes I don't want to be.
I'm gonna leave
I
that one
do.
alone. Okay.
I do have shy moments.
Okay. I want to believe you.
Like-
I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna believe you because you said it. Let me go on to my next question. So
Go, please.
you talked about not being shy in front of an audience, which means obviously you do gigs, large and small. How do you?
Mhm.
What is your process for preparing for a gig?
Ooh. I personally like to get to know who I am going to be playing music for. I don't care what the event is. I don't even care where the venue is. I want to know the people, who's hosting this thing. Oh, it's you. You're hosting, and you're whatever wild and crazy person, zany person, and the people you hang with, those around you are the same. That's a no brainer. You just play all the fun stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You play the fun stuff that's going to get them up and go wild, and you're going to see people doing that stupid little sprinkler dance thing, and
I
you're like,
never heard that
oh
term, a
my
sprinkler
goodness.
dance, but that's exactly
Yeah,
what it looks like. A sprinkler going
yeah,
back.
it's a sprinkler. Just they're doing all that, and you're laughing at them on the dance floor, but they're having a good time.
Right, and that's the most important thing.
That's all it is. You don't even have to know how to dance good, if long as you're having a good time. And I want to know if I'm going to be playing the right music so that you and your crowd is going to have a good time.
Right. So that actually leads
So
me
you,
to my next question. You said you
mhm.
got to play the right music. So that means that you have to be familiar with like a wide range of music styles and genres.
Oh yeah, yes, and that's where it gets difficult, and you have this is good DJing. A good DJ is going to have everything. And you're thinking to yourself, how in the world can you have everything? Well,
Yeah.
you can with the internet now. And I've watched DJs. They'll have their laptops up there. They'll have two laptops up there, and they're playing and they're doing their thing. And someone will come up and request a song, and you know that they don't have it. They'll go on YouTube, download the song, and put it in their mix. Just blend
Oh
it right
man.
on in. Oh, it's
Wow.
incredible. Now that's the new school. I'm still old school DJ.
Hmm.
Old school. I'm not mixing and scratching so much.
Hmm.
What I do is if you have a song and it's a hit, uh, a lot of people like to hear the whole song.
Hmm.
So I'll let the whole song play before I put the next song on, and as it's fading out, I'll fade the new one in, the next song in.
Gotcha.
But these kids now, what? They do some incredible stuff.
Wow.
Technology is really wonderful for DJs.
Wow. Very cool. So that means that sometimes when you're researching all these genres, you're going to run into situations where you have to play foreign language. So how
Ooh,
do you
yes.
research for that kind of stuff when you have to play foreign language songs, genres that you're totally unfamiliar with? Like say they don't do it on the fly like at the event. Say you have to do the preparation in advance.
Oh yeah, I'm going to tell you a wonderful experience. I was hired to do a Congolese wedding reception. I'm from Ohio. I, I barely speak English well. You know, anything other than that, I'm lost. So what I had to personally do was I had to sit down with the bride and groom and some of his groomsmen, and I said, "What do you listen to?" And they looked at each other, and they were speaking French and whatever language they speak in the Congo. And they said, "We can get the music for you. We have the music." And I said, "Perfect.
Wow.
I'm gonna need 3 hours 3 hours of the music that you
Right.
like." And it happened. And I don't know if you remember this. You and I were at this wedding together. You remember your friend Ruthie? That she was
Yeah.
Colombian.
Colombian. I married them.
That you married them. That's
Right.
right. Her first husband.
Her first time. The
You
first.
married the first
The
husband.
first one, right?
We won't even go into that. But yeah, you married her and her first husband. But anyway, at their wedding reception, they supplied all of the Colombian music. And it wasn't the Mexican Spanish music. It wasn't the Puerto Rican Spanish or Cuban. It was Colombian. Do you remember? I was out there. All I did was push play, and I went out there and I was sweating, dancing harder than they were.
Wow.
So sometimes you just have to, sometimes you got to do some homework. It always helps if the people provide
Hmm.
music. And the Congolese music was the beat is that Afro Caribbean
Yeah.
beat. It's all there, but and you should have seen it was a fantastic. I wish I had video of it.
Yeah, I wish
Um,
I did too. That was a long time ago. Ooh, I was young back then.
But for Ruthie's, but the Congolese
Yeah.
reception, I had video of it. It was amazing, and they did not sit down.
Wow. That is so
And
cool
I
when it
was,
turns out like that.
oh, I was
That
a
lets you know
hero.
you're doing a good job.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything; just brought the equipment to play it on. What's
Wow.
your next question, there, Cuzzo?
So we were talking about different types of music, and there are going to be people that have music styles that you shake your head and go, okay. How do you get around those sticky situations with people that have very, let's just say, questionable music taste?
For me, I will just simply say I don't have that. I don't have that. Another song, another situation came up where I was doing a private event and these girls wanted to hear the song of the year, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, WAP, which if you know
I
what the
don't think, yeah.
acronym for. You,
Oh, okay.
well,
Okay,
I'm,
I get it. I
it's
get it. I
it,
get it.
it's
Okay.
it's okay, and I was like there's just I've got granddaughters, I've got daughter, I've got a wife. I'm not playing the song, but these were women requesting the song. I didn't even have it. I could have got it like that.
Right.
I could have got it, but no, and they were upset with me. So sometimes you just got to say no.
Yeah. And after all,
If it's
you got, yeah,
vulgar,
yeah, you got to do what's
yeah,
good for you and your
yeah,
audience.
yeah, yeah, because there were grandmothers out there. I'm sure somebody's grandmother did not want to dance to that. That's it's a pretty vulgar song.
Right.
The edited version is vulgar.
Wow. I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
seen or heard of the song, but so let's get back to you. You mentioned a little while ago that you were kind of old school. So does that mean
Hmm.
that you prefer vinyl over digital, or do you do both? And if so, why do you choose one or another?
Well, I hadn't thought of that, but digital. Why? You don't have so much stuff to carry. I'm getting old, man. you know,
Okay,
Digital's
Grandpa.
easy, baby.
Grandpa
Digital is easy.
DJ Grandpa.
Yeah, really and truly. Digital by all means. There's
Okay,
so much you can do with digital too that you can't do with vinyl.
exactly. So, Tom, what would be a dream gig for you? Like, what would you like? Oh, I would love to do something like this.
Well, DJing was a means to an end for me because I'm a singer.
Oh yeah, I
I
forgot
love
to mention that to the audience, and he's a great singer, folks.
and I like performing, but you know, I didn't want to have to compromise myself and go through a whole bunch of trauma and shenanigans to to sing. So, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
What would be a dream gig for you?
A dream gig. Dream gig would be, believe it or not, is to be singing on stage with people like, and this is a big wide spectrum. George Michael, who's dead and gone.
Right.
Marvin Gaye, dead and gone. Um, Luther Vandross, dead and gone. you know, and there's some Aretha, Karen Carpenter.
Wow.
Karen Carpenter could sing, man. The
Oh no, I
Carpenters
agree
could
with you.
sing.
Yeah, yeah, she
Their
could.
their harmonies,
Hmm.
to sing. I want to sing but not just out there just not this new singing stuff that they have. The music nowadays, I won't say it's garbage, but it is so manufactured, and there's no singers anymore. I want to
Right,
sing.
right.
I want to sing.
I actually watched. I didn't fully understand that before until I watched a documentary, and they actually talked about the difference in the styles over the years, because they made the same assertion that people nowadays, it's like a manufactured thing. The people just aren't really showcasing their vocal talents. Some people don't even have vocal. It's just promotion, promotion and mixing and all that kind of stuff. It's fascinating. Maybe we'll get you back on another show and we can actually just talk just about that, about the singing.
Yeah, because I'm working on something now, and all you do, it is you just stack sounds and you compress sounds, and it's there's an art, and you sample. So a lot of the music is snippets of other stuff, and it's just put together and quantized. And I love live music.
Right.
You'll hear a lot of artists. You get someone like your Bruno Mars. People are hating on Bruno Mars. They're saying he's plagiarizing black music. But no, he's got a band behind him, and he's really singing, and the man can sing. And so that's why he's a standout. Now, he's commercial, so he kind of bent the rules a little bit, but he's there. There's a few of them out there that can get away with it. He's legit. Did you say?
Yeah.
Bruno Mars? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think he's a solid artist. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now, but there's others. Be like,
It's like, I don't know.
No, Wow. And there was one artist. She said she owns her own label. She says we can make anybody sound good in the studio, and you can.
Wow.
You can.
Wow. Yeah. I agree. I like the people that could really sing, that have those beautiful voices.
Celine Dion.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Barry Manilow. He can write a song, and just he writes a song to make the whole world sing. That's what. You know
who I really liked was Neil Diamond. Who? I like Neil Diamond a lot.
Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond sold more albums than Michael Jackson did in his career. He did way more numbers than Michael Jackson did. But it was a different time, and Neil Diamond was a different type of a singer.
Yeah, I like his music a lot. So you mentioned that you got into a little bit, so you kind of led me into my next thing I wanted to talk about. Was you mentioned about the layering? Can you give us a sample? Show us what you're working on right now. You said you were working on something.
Yeah, I'm working on something. Somebody had an idea of an old song done by DJ Quick, and the song was called "Summer Breeze." And they want to sing over it and rap some stuff over it. Hold on, let me see if I can bring this up. Just
and folks, you got to check out his equipment.
Hold on,
it is so cool. Maybe you can swing the camera around to show us.
Here we go.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Is that what you're talking about?
How big is that monitor?
I'm old, man.
Is that was like a 40-inch monitor?
40-inch? That's for the computer. This one is 50.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I gotta see. So here we go. And again, digital turntables. So here we go. And what I've done is just took a sample of the song.
Okay.
Just a sample. But we had to keep building on the song with the same song, so that someone else could. It actually makes the song longer.
Gotcha.
But so I used the same song and layered it on top of it.
That is so cool.
here you go now. Now here's the song. Now it's all, and it's still, and it's still work in progress. Now there's going to be a young female singing over this, and we're going to do some layering with her voice. And
so, what do you mean when you say layering with the voice?
well, layers. You sing it once. You sing it again. You may change your octave. Got you.
Okay.
You see, and then there's ad libs. You add different oohs and ahs and la 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 and just whatever, whatever. Now, I'll turn this down just a little bit. And this is fun. Now, see, and this is also what I like to do. See, so the DJing really, you because DJs have to be so creative now. They become producers. That's why you hear DJ so and so is produced this. DJ Khaled, he was a DJ, but you get into the point where you can manipulate sound, layer it, change it, bend it. I've got one song that I was doing and I ran the whole thing backwards, and it sounds incredible. So DJs do that kind of stuff, and then they turn into producers and if you know how to sing, then you can. But I can't produce for myself. Isn't that weird?
I have a friend that you need to meet. Then his name is Noel Molina in Madrid, Spain, and he's a producer.
Oh yeah. I'll What is that? 12 hours time difference?
Well, we'll find a way. We'll do a Zoom thing. We'll get you guys talking. His sister is a famous singer in Spain. Her name is Monica Molina. And he produces her songs.
Does he?
Yeah, he's very, very good. Very good. He's got a whole he's got a whole studio, but he's got the sound booth and everything, so she can go in there and sing and all that kind of stuff. Really great.
Oh, my wife won't allow that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, but
yeah.
No, I don't want that many people in and out of my world.
Yeah. Well, Todd, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm going to ask you to stick around for our next segment.
I'm sleepy.
Okay, I get it. Well, thanks again for being on the show.
I'll stick around a little bit.
Yeah. And then
can I drink alcohol? Can we have drinks on your show?
You certainly can.
Because I'm going to get a drink.
Okay, well, get a drink and check this out, okay?
Okay, I'll be right back. Hey, folks, thanks for watching.
In this episode of The More You Know, I'd like to take a few minutes to examine a question that we've all asked at one time or another. Where are you from? Now, my question is why? Why do we ask that particular question to people that we meet for the first time? Now, the reason why we think we ask the question is because when we meet someone for the first time and they have at least one or more traits that don't seem local to the area that we're from or that we're in at that particular time, then we ask the question, well, where are you from? But again, why do we ask that particular question? And does the information that the person gives us, does that really answer the question that we're really trying to ask? Is that question as innocent or innocuous as we think it is? Would the question, where are you a local, be a better question to give us the information that we're really looking for? Now, I'll get to that part of the question later, but I want to go back to the initial question. Why do we ask the question, where are you from? And what got me thinking about that was something that I read recently. It was an article about a native Floridian man that was living in North Carolina. And one day he was asked where he was from. And he told the requester that he was from Florida. Now, that should have led to a whole possible discussion about living in Florida and North Carolina and the differences between the two, the things they have in common. But it didn't. You see, the man was of Iranian ancestry, so he didn't look like he was from either Florida nor North Carolina. Now, that particular fact led to a whole drill down on the exact location where his ancestors were from, and ended up with him being labeled as not really Floridian, but actually Iranian, which he clearly wasn't. Now, when people local to a particular region or area where the people are more homogenous are asked the question, where are you from? The questioner is usually trying to get information about the specific part of the area or region the person is from. Their accent might be different. They might have other characteristics that are slightly different, but close enough. So it's just where are you from in that particular part of the area. However, when people that don't look native to the area are asked the question, where are you from? It actually sounds different because it is a different question. There's an assumption behind that question. And the assumption is that here, people look like us. You don't look like us. So where are you really from? Now, you may not think that's what you're asking, but that's really what you're asking. And actually what they're saying with that question is, you need to tell me where you're really from, because we don't want to expand our understanding of what it means to be from here to include someone that looks like you. So they've just invalidated this person's biography. And this invalidation extends to our diction, our vocabulary, everything. Now, I am quite certain that there's folks out there that are saying, wait a minute, you're reading way too much into this simple question. But ask yourself, am I? So to answer that question, be honest and think about what you're feeling inside. If you were to ask someone that question and their answer doesn't match what you thought it should be, do you feel a little confused? If so, why? Also, do you keep probing? You keep asking additional questions. Where are your parents from? Or where are the other questions to give you an answer that you feel more satisfied with? Now, the question is, why do you feel satisfied with that answer as opposed to the initial answer? This brings us to my next question that I asked initially. Would a better question to ask someone be, where are you a local? Now, here's why I think that's a better question. And to help me out, I'm going to use some concepts that I learned from a lady named Taye Selassie, who was a writer, and she gave a TED Talk on this particular subject. And let me explain to you personally why this interests me. You see, I live in Italy, and since I don't obviously look like someone would assume to be an Italian, I get the question quite often, dove sei? Where are you from? Now, depending on how I'm feeling when I'm asked the question, I kind of toggle my answer between San Francisco, California, or the United States. But either way, generally, once I give them that answer, I get this kind of relieved smile, and the person is very nice, which I think is kind of interesting, and I'll talk about that a little later. But if I'm being honest, the answer that I give them isn't really the truth. You see, I have no relationship with the entire United States. Not really, not all 50 states. My relationship to the United States is with Columbus, Ohio, the city where I was born, New York, where I spent my late teens and early 20s. My relationship is with Phoenix, Arizona, where I spent my impressionable 20s to mid 30s. It's with Los Angeles, San Francisco, particularly San Francisco, where I spent most of my professional career and came into my own as a person. But it's also is with Seattle, Washington, and Buenos Aires, Argentina, which actually is my heart home. So like Taye says in her amazing TED Talk, these are the places that have shaped my personal experience, and my experience is where I'm from. So saying that I'm from San Francisco, for example, gives one impression to people here in Italy. It even does that to people inside the United States. Whereas saying I'm from Ohio will give people quite another impression, as well as saying I'm from Arizona. Because at the root of saying that I'm from a particular country or a particular city will trigger a story about that place in the mind of the person asking the question. And sometimes, sadly enough, it triggers a single story that could actually put me into a box in their minds and associate me with stereotypes, negative stereotypes that I may not want to be associated with. So, about that question, where are you a local? As Taye so eloquently explains in her TED Talk, to answer that question, we need to think about three things. We need to think about our rituals, relationships, and oddly enough, our restrictions. She goes on to talk about first rituals. If we think about our daily rituals, eating, driving to work, harvesting crops, religious services, etc. When I think about mine, I think about being a child in Columbus, Ohio, where I grew up in a house where the door was always open to friends to drop in and eat. It was about my dad driving us to the airport to watch the planes taking off, going to the river fishing with my grandmother, or my mom's fancy dinner parties, or even spending time being shuffled around to spend the night with my various cousins. Those were my rituals. Next, my relationships. These are the people that shaped my days, or would shape your days. People that with whom we speak at least once a week, face to face, or in Zoom, or whatever. It doesn't necessarily include our Facebook friends, honestly, but people who actually shape our emotional experience. Our mom, our dad, our sister, brother, best friends, cousins, whatever. So, as Taye posits, that we're a local to where we carry out our rituals and relationships. But how we experience our locality depends in part on our restrictions. And by restrictions, she means, where are we able to live? What passport do we hold? Are we restricted, say, by prejudice, racism, from fully being at home where we live? Are we restricted by civil war, dysfunctional governance, economic inflation, from living in the locality where we had our rituals as a child? As she describes the restrictions as the least sexy of the R's, it's not as lyrical as our relationships and rituals, but that particular question takes us past where are you now to why aren't you there now? You see, our rituals, relationships, and restrictions. So when people ask the question, where are you from? Believe it or not, it's some kind of shorthand. And so it's quicker for me, in my case, to say I'm from the US or San Francisco, California. But as Taye points out, the difference between where are you from and where are you a local is not the specificity of the answer, it's the intention of the question. Replacing the language of nationality with the language of locality asks us to shift our focus to where real life occurs. My real life occurred in Phoenix, in Columbus, in New York, in Seattle, in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and other places that I live, Buenos Aires. It did not occur in all of Argentina or in all of the United States. So one possibility why we ask the question, and I know there's a lot of you out there going to disagree, but one of the possibilities why we ask the question, where are you from, is that we are consciously or unconsciously playing a power game. Hear me out. Countries represent power. So if a person comes up and says, hey, I'm from Mexico, Poland, Bangladesh, we might think, ooh, again, less power. If they say I'm from United States, Germany, England, France, Japan, more power. If they say China, Russia, kind of ambiguous. That's why I said earlier that when I tell folks here in Italy that I'm from the United States, they smile and look relieved. Do you know why? Because they realize I am not from one of the African countries like most of the people that look like me or have similar skin color as I here in Italy. You know, I was even advised to always let people know that I'm from the United States. And I'll tell you, honestly, it has made a huge difference in how I'm received. Again, power. Tanya concludes her TED Talk by saying the following. In creative writing, locality bespeaks humanity. The more we know about where a story is set, the more local color and texture, the more human the characters start to feel, the more relatable they are, not less. The myth of national identity and the vocabulary of coming from nations confuses us into placing ourselves into these mutually exclusive categories. Whereas in fact, we are all multi-local, multi-layered. So to begin our conversations with an acknowledgement of this particular complexity brings us closer together, not farther apart. So think about this. The next time you introduce yourself, try this. Try introducing yourself as someone who is local to a particular area or areas. And then ask that person to tell you where they are local and see if you notice a difference. And that is the more you know. Well, folks, that's a wrap on another show. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more shows like this, no problem. Just subscribe to my channel. It's super easy. Click on the subscribe button, then click notifications, and every time I upload a new show, you'll be the very first one to know. Also, if you'd like to be on the show, or maybe you know someone wants to be on the show, no problem. I'll leave my information down in the description. Just give me a call and let me know. Until then, eat well, travel a lot, and be as creative as humanly possible. Ciao.